So here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven, how do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. I am so excited because we have one of the most phenomenal guests I have literally ever had on my show. And I am not joking. This gentleman you are about to witness is one of the rare individuals in the business world that I personally met that doesn't just talk a good talk, but walks the walk to an extreme. And this gentleman is just beyond amazing because not only is he very successful and very good at what he does and has incredible clients that will, shout from the rooftops about the results they've gotten from him. What really draws me near to this gentleman is his authenticity, his integrity, his love for helping others. He oozes this, and we'll get into this more in the show when I bring him on. He's like a friend, a really dear friend that I just met, and we've had hour-long talks and things, but we haven't known each other a whole long time, but it feels like I've known this guy for a long time. I'm sure many of you have experienced that. And before we do that, Bo, real quick, the Mind, Body, Business Show. What is that? It is a show that I have had put together with you in mind, the business person, the entrepreneur, the one that is trying to make it to the next level in their business. And what I found in my walk of many years, I am now 58 years old on this planet. I started studying only successful people, say for the last decade or so, only successful people. What is it about them that made them perhaps more successful than someone like me? And I started realizing after reading, after meeting with, after being mentored by physically, personally, after studying person after person, both those that are alive and those that have passed on before, I found these three elements that kept bubbling to the top for each and every one of these very successful individuals. And you might guess what those three things are. They're what I call the three pillars of success. That is mind, body, and business. Mind being mindset. To a person, these successful individuals had mastered their own mindset. They had figured out how to become more positive and keep a more powerful mindset. But the most important attribute of all of them was to be flexible in their mindset, have a flexible mindset. Body was literally that they took care of themselves physically and nutritionally. That simple. And business, oh my gosh, business is multifaceted. These successful individuals had mastered the skill sets that are necessary to grow a successful business and then continue to scale it and keep building it bigger and impacting more people, just like our amazing guest who's coming on, Dan Shinder, has done. And these skill sets include things like marketing, team building, systematizing, sales, leadership. I could go on for quite some time, and you might be thinking, well, geez, Brian, you said you have to master these skill sets. That's going to take me a long time. And you're right. It would if you were the one mastering each of these individually. There's a big hint right there. And so one of the greatest skill sets you can master and you should concentrate on mastering first is one that I just mentioned there, because when you do, the rest will fall into place much easier. And you personally won't have to master every single skill set, not even the ones I just mentioned. Does anybody want to know what that one skill set is? It is the massive shortcut to success. There are so many, and I know Dan has many that we're going to go over tonight. And yeah, I'm not going to teach you. I'm going to just tell you what it is. It is the skill set of, drum roll, I need a soundbite for that, of leadership. Now you might say, Brian, I don't have a team yet. That's fine. Master leading yourself first, always. How would you lead yourself? How would you lead others? You lead yourself the same way. Establish that business culture And you will find that you're able to now bring on those people that have mastered or in the process of mastering those skill sets that you have not yet mastered, or you may never master, given the fact that we only have so many years on this planet and it takes time to master everything. And so that is my gift to you right off the bat, is you master leadership and you can really crush it in business much faster than if you were to try to do it on your own, which every single one of us, me included, has attempted to do and sometimes still revert back to it. But that's all good. Just know to get out of your ego and become a great leader. And another wonderful thing that I noticed with these incredibly successful people is that to a person, they also were incredibly avid readers of books. And with that, real quickly, I want to segue into a quick segment I affectionately call bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
Yes, there you see reachyourpeaklibrary.com right there on the side. That is a website that I had my team build with you in mind. And real quick note here, an aside, you are going to be getting resources, websites, places to go, books to read, different things. This happens all the time on the show. And what happens, the tendency for us as human beings is to go click away and check those out while the show is going live. I will implore upon you to please, for yourself, not for me, for yourself, rather than do that, is take out a good old-fashioned piece of paper and a pen or a notepad, or type it on your computer and take notes. Write down these resources, and if they are websites and things like that, visit them after the show is over. And the reason why is because after many years on stage and presenting material that I knew would be impactful, I would notice at points someone would get up right when I know the juice is coming, because I'm the one delivering it. I know the heavy hitting part of it. They would get up and walk out of the room. They had to go to the bathroom. They had that all important phone call or text messages, all these things that were distracting them. And I would hate for that to happen for you, because Dan Shinder, I'm telling you right now, you do not want to miss one single word of this amazing man. And please write notes, take down notes, but keep your gaze and your attention on him throughout the show. And that way you will not miss that one golden nugget that if you were to take your focus away, that one, it only takes one, that one golden nugget that could literally, and I'm not kidding here, change your life forever for the better. So that's just my advice to you. All right, back to reachyourpeaklibrary.com, off my soapbox. It is a site that I had put together, as I said, with you in mind. And here's the thing. I didn't start reading books avidly myself until about the age of 47, 11 years ago. And I found this wonderful, amazing new tool back then called Audible. And I realized, oh my gosh, I didn't know that I did not visibly using my eyeballs to read pages because it fatigued me. But listening, I'm like, oh gosh, I could devour it. And I did. And I started reading book after book after book. Every book on this website is one that I have read and I personally vet. So not every book I've ever read is on this website. That's what I mean by that. And this is here as a resource to you. It's not here to make money for me. You click any of those buttons, it goes to Amazon. You can go to any bookstore you want. Just look at this page, find the book, the first one that jumps off the page. They're in no order whatsoever, as you will find out. Not alphabetic, not by author. They're just thrown in as I read them. And just find the first one that jumps off the page that you have yet to read and read it, because these are life-changing books. And the fact that at least one other successful individual has read and vetted them, that reduces the odds of your wasting your time in doing the same. So I wanted to give you that little gift. And another fantastic, phenomenal, incredible, and supreme gift, the biggest gift I could ever give you right now, is the gift of Mr. Dan Shinder. Let's bring him on right now. Here we go.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is the one, the only Mr. Dan Shinder.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, this resource that you provide for people regarding books is, folks, I can't say enough how on point that is for your success how valuable that is. And we'll get into books later, I'm sure. But also, the introduction you gave me, I appreciate that so much, because just to be totally transparent with everybody, Brian and I met, I believe, 3 or 4 months ago. As he said, we've had hour-long conversations, calling each other names. I mean, we just felt like brothers from the beginning. And we have to give a shout out to Daniel Aaron in Hawaii, who's in my master class, who introduced us, and it was just instant bonding. And you do such a good job with your shows. And I watched your shows before you invited me on. And when you invited me on, actually, I thought it was a joke. Like, I think some of the names you called me, I think, were a joke, but here we are. And it means so much to me. I really appreciate it. You just do a wonderful thing for the entrepreneurial and business community.
Well, to the master name caller, I thank you so very much. It is so true. I mean, it was like you and I met, and we instantly reverted to junior high, and it was fun.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's been fun ever since.
Absolutely.
You know, you are far, far older than I am in age. I think it's a year, but I like to point that out. He's always older than me. This is the way we roll. We're like always just like 7th graders going at it and having a good time, and just,
I always am the one left standing, just so y'all know.
Yeah, because you're the older brother. That always is. I hated that.
Yeah, I'll be. I can't believe I'll be 60 in April of 2023. My wife insists I'm 8, and I'm like, can you at least give me credit for 12? Come on. I cannot fathom that I'm going to be 60. I have kids older than me, I think. It's just weird. It's just so weird. Age is just a number. And we're going to get into, I think, taking care of yourself and what's important. And I've been on that journey, and I just can't get my head around 60.
Yeah, I mean, that's so ancient. I'm going to order that walking stick and have it sent to you post haste, brother. Yes, that's how we roll. All right, real quick, a little bit of housekeeping before we move on. This is going to be so much fun. I mean, it's slated for an hour. We'll probably go 2 or 3.
I've got all night.
Yeah, I don't, but man, I want to. On the upper right of your screen, you can see right above Dan's left shoulder, there's a nice red and white stamp-looking logo. It's the Big Insider Secrets. That's my unbelievably dear friend, Jason Nast. Yes, thank you. TheBigInsiderSecrets.com. He has sponsored this show, he and his company, and he has enabled us to give away every single show. You won't believe this. It's phenomenal. A 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. And these are locations all over the world that you, the winner, get to choose from. And I'll be announcing that here toward the end of the show. You must be watching live to the end of the show to see that, or to be able to enter. If you're not watching live, there's still hope. There's still a chance. Go to the Mind Body Business Show. It's a lot. TheMindBodyBusinessShow.com. And you'll see numerous buttons on how and where to watch. Click any one of them. Opt in. You'll instantly get a hotel discount card, again, by the Big Insider Secrets. They are legitimate. I've used them. You get that for nothing. And you will then have the ability to come on live and then enter to win these, and to interact live with amazing, incredible celebrity status type people like Dan Shinder. And I kid you not when I say that, celebrity status in our circles, this guy is the bomb. He's at the top. And so you get to actually interact with amazing people like him. So I implore of you to do that. So we will be announcing how you win that here at the end of the show. And then a couple more, and we are going to dive into this amazing human being named Dan Shinder here in just a minute. And I mean dive in like literally. It's going to hurt him. So if you're struggling with putting a live show together and it's overwhelming, and you want a lot of the processes done for you while still enabling you to put on a high quality show and connect with great people, and I'm not kidding, like Dan Shinder, and grow your business all at the same time, then write this down. Again, write it down. CarpetBombMarketing.com. Then head on over to it after the conclusion of tonight's show. Carpet Bomb Marketing, saturate the marketplace with your message. And you can also get a free lifetime membership to the Reach Your Peak Club. Your free membership includes instant access to deep discounts on major software, services, and top shelf training courses that you need to run your successful business. You can think of it as your entrepreneur discount house. Catapult your business to the next level. Sign up for free now. Well, not now, but when you sign up, you will get a hotel discount card, another one worth $200 for free, just for joining. And again, it's free. Then after you do that, you can go grab your deep discounts that you'll see in the membership area. So write this down after the show. Head over to reachyourpeakclub.com. That is reachyourpeakclub.com. Now back to the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Dan Shinder. This is the man right here. Yeah, right there. The cool looking guy with the glasses. And I'm going to introduce him and give him the respect he deserves, because he's got a phenomenal history. And it's really important for you to understand what he's accomplished, so that you'll know, once I've finished with his intro, you'll know he is a guy you want to follow. And he's a guy that if he talks, not only listen, not only take notes, but definitely take action on what he is going to share with you tonight. Dan Shinder has built a global presence with over, come on people, listen to this, 1 million active followers, reaching millions more people a week and growing by 4,500 a week. How many of you would like to do that in a year? From over 130 countries, reaching millions more people a month using content marketing on social media and brand building strategies he developed on social media while growing the Drum Talk TV brand. That brand reached over 120 million people in all of 2021. Good God. All of this was done. This is the greatest part. Lean in and hear this. All of this was done 100% organically. He did not boost posts, no paid ads, no focus on search engine optimization. Ick. Dan understands, quote unquote, busy, as he and his wife have 11 kids, busy Danny, 19 grandkids, a cat, and 2 dogs as he falls over. He says you should never be too busy to learn exceptional marketing. If you are serious about what you do, get serious about how you market it. Right between the eyes, that is where it's at. It's about marketing, ladies and gentlemen. This guy gets it very few people I've ever run into. His focus is on marketing. And that is where every one of our businesses should be focusing first and foremost on. With that, officially, formally welcome to the show, Mr. Dan Shinder. Oh, yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And thanks everyone for watching, whether you're watching live or on the archive. It means a lot to me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. The comments are coming in. Let's see. Stuck in My Mind podcast is saying, hey, Brian, how are you doing? And Lori,
what a great name for a podcast.
I love it. Yes, it's a great name for a podcast. And Lori Ann Hood, hello from South Carolina. How are you doing, Lori Ann Hood? Lori. Again, she is always coming on, and she was laughing at something probably at my face earlier. But anyway, that's how we roll. We have fun.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh, Dan, I love to ask. The very first question is always about what I call the foundation and the cornerstone of the reason we are either successful or not. Because in my humble opinion, every one of us, the number one reason for where we are now individually is what is going on between our 2 ears. It's in that brain. And so for you, I'm very curious, because you have found it. You have found that it factor that so many people have strived for, desire. They're looking for the greatest marketing tool, or the tool, or the mechanical thing that you turn the crank and it spits out success. Well, literally, it's not none of those. It all starts with this, the mind. And for you, when you get up in the morning, you know how every day is such an easy breeze now, because you're so successful. You're just swaying back and forth on that hammock with that umbrella drink and just saying, get me one more. And they bring it, and then another few $1,000s drops in your bank account when that happened. And we all know that's not true. I'm just having fun.
Right.
For you, when you get up knowing you have all of these daily tasks, sometimes weekly, that are some of them arduous, for sure. What is it for you that keeps you driven every single day when you get up out of bed? What is going on in your big, beautiful brain that says, Dan Shinder is going to crush it today because, and what is that reason?
I want to make my wife happy. That's a big part of it. We're here. We are here. And I think that while we're here, it's our obligation to ourselves and those we connect with to make the best of it. And making the best of it, to me, means helping others with what we're good at. We're not all good at the same thing. And I am in competition with no one other than myself. I always want to get better. I had the most amazing role models in my parents. They were together since they were 15, 16 years old until my mom passed away in her 60s. And my dad didn't finish high school. However, he, during that era, Happy Days era, he had to leave to help the family. The older brothers were away at the war, that kind of thing. But he had his own businesses. He rose to a very, very high executive level with the McDonald's Corporation. They just instilled in me that you can do whatever you believe you can do. And I think in some ways I overcorrected in that area. And I don't mean as far as achievements, but as far as I ended up not going to college, but I had a lot of success as a working musician. Then I went into corporate America for a while. Then I became an entrepreneur. Then I ended up working for someone again. Then I had a cooking show on TV. What did I know about producing a cooking show? My friend asked me, I said, we have 7 TVs in our house. I think I know everything I need to know. I said that tongue in cheek, but I've always had the belief that if you're a constant learner and surround yourself with the right people in business and life, you really can do anything. So my motivation has been that to always make whatever crazy harebrained dream I have come true without it being an arduous academic study. That does not take away from what Brian mentioned earlier about this amazing resource with books. I went through a 2-year period where I read about 230 books, and they weren't all business books. They weren't all nonfiction. And that was an amazing period in my life. We can get into that later if we talk about books, but that's what motivates me really, is to just to be here, enjoy it, do the best I can, provide for my wife, who's an awesome business person as well. And most of all, have fun doing it. This platitude that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. That's just total bullshit. Everything I've done with Drum Talk TV and my marketing company has been hard work. You are the silver bullet, folks, in everything you do. Not the wisdom you glean from my class, not the app, not the this, not the that. You're the silver bullet because it takes work to work it and make it work and get results. You're the silver bullet. But I insist on everything I do. I got to make it fun somehow. Are there things I don't like doing in both my companies? Of course. And anyone that tells you otherwise is, before I had a team, I did everything for Drum Talk TV except the website. And I got to a point where I developed a team and brought on more people. And I made sure that I did my best to enjoy every step of the way. I mean, long answer. What was the question to get? No, I'm kidding. It's a long answer, but it's a package answer, if you will.
And because it's deep, it's so true. It's what I call a bomb dropping moment right there. Yeah, and I like to say, smart bombs of wisdom. That is what is Dan Shinder, because you had me right at the very first sentence when you said, I want to make my wife happy. Oh. And a lot of guys will go to that and go, oh, yeah, happy wife, happy life. Well, that's not what Dan is talking about. I know because I've seen him and his wife together, and I have a hidden camera in his house, just so you know.
But she doesn't watch anything else except it. So.
Yeah, during one of those lengthy Zoom calls we've had together, he introduced her to me. And you can just, and they interacted, and I could just see the absolute pure love they have for each other. And that he really means that it means everything to him to make his wife happy, not necessarily for him to, in return, be happy because she's happy, because that will take off all the crappy stuff that most husbands talk about. Like, oh, she's always nagging me. That's not what Dan's talking about. Right. He's talking about, I want to love her and make her happy because I love her, period. End of story. Not because I want something in return. Offline, we'll have a chat and I'll tell him, you're full of BS. You want something in return, don't you, brother? No, I'm kidding.
To me, that's honoring her as well,
Yeah.
Why are you in a marriage if you're not there to make each other happy in every way that you can?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I always say, oh my God, just the other day, I'm not going to call out a name, but one individual made a derogatory remark about his wife for the purpose of being funny. Haha, we're guys.
An
And
expense.
I just said, I just turned it around. I reframed it instantly. I said, I knew her a little bit. And I said, she's the best thing in your life. And I didn't mean it to get back at him. I just wanted to stop him and say, go to the other path, bro. Because there's never, ever a good reason to demean your wife, even if you're joking, unless you're a comedian getting paid for it on stage and she's okay with it. That's different. I'm not in that space. I don't know how that works. There's no reason to do that. If you love your wife, you love your wife. You're not going to say derogatory things. But thank you for being I call you a true man, because very few men are willing to admit how much they love their wife. And hopefully this will help additional guys to say, yeah, what's wrong? Let's just change this up. Let's be honoring our wives.
Yeah. If you're not all the way in, get out. You don't belong there. You don't deserve them. They don't deserve you. It's just, we can do a whole show just about that.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously.
Easily.
Yeah.
And you said so much. It was a great package deal there. It's helping others, competition with no one other than myself, surrounding yourself with the right people. That's a huge, my God, of all the takeaways, Jiminy Christmas, that's got to be one of the biggest ones, is get a team, surround yourself with others who are like-minded, who will help lift you up, who don't detract and push you down, whether they're on your team or whether they're just a colleague like Dan and I are. We're just friends, and surround yourself with like-minded people. Have fun doing it. And I'm so thankful you were so honest, saying that it's not just always fun. It isn't. That's why it's called work. The thing is, though, it's so fun to do. I love doing it, even when the non-fun stuff's happening, because I know getting over that hurdle takes me back to the fun stuff.
Even when I'm hurling stuff through the office, I'm like, I just love this business. Clank, bash, smash.
That's the thing, without the struggle, there is no victory, right? I mean, you can't. It's a contrast. There has to be both in order to have
That's where
victory.
we grow. You cannot grow in your comfort zone. You cannot have breakthroughs in your comfort zone. You have to stretch, and you have to get out of your comfort zone, or it just falls into that saying, to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result is insanity. And that's so true, as much as a platitude. That sounds like it really is true. You have to stretch and find where you're comfortable stretching and getting uncomfortable, if that makes any sense, where you would be best at stretching to get to the result quicker, not as a shortcut. I'm not into shortcuts, but we're all wired differently. And if there's a way that you could stretch more quickly because it fits how you're wired, do it and get out of your comfort zone, because you will have better results. Everyone's in a box, right? Whether it's Oprah Winfrey, whether it's Warren Buffett, whether it's your favorite comedian, your favorite insert race car driver, drummer, potato chip manufacturer, whatever. We're all in a box, but that doesn't mean that it's down here or stuck. We're always elevating to that upper box and getting to the next level. Otherwise, why are we here if it's not a journey? And why not journey up instead of lateral or backwards?
Or lateral, like going nowhere, right?
Yeah.
And so for you, if you can think of one that sticks out, a comfort zone moment where you left your comfort zone that was really a pivotal point in your business life, and you're like, oh, you had to take a deep breath, and it's like, oh, this is making me nervous as holy heck, and I know this is going to be good for me. I don't want to do it, but I know if I do, it'll be good for me, and I should do it. It's integrity based, it's authentic, all those great things. And the end result is I'm going to improve, and my business is going to improve, and I'm going to help others. Can you recall what one of those moments that sticks out in your mind might have been?
Yeah, I think the first thing that comes to mind is with Drum Talk TV. And for those who don't know, Drum Talk TV is an online media company in the music industry that is the largest of its type, with the largest reach, that covers everything about drumming. And our fans are not just drummers. There's other musicians, other people in the business, and just weirdos that like looking at drummers, music fans. And I did, like I said, everything the first 3.5 years, except for the website and also the once a year NAMM show that we covered, the music industry trade show. So one of the biggest things that sticks out is when I decided to start handing off things that I was just so used to doing. I had to sit at the grown-ups table and tell myself I'm working too much in the business. I need to work more on the business or it's not going to grow and we're not going to progress. And that's probably it. And I'm proud to say, I hope he doesn't mind me giving a shout out, that my right-hand man, who I over the last 4 years will be 10 years old in January, or the last 4 years or so, I've given probably 70% of that stuff to my right-hand man, who happens to be my youngest, my son, Steve. And he's just been phenomenal. And there's been other people involved as well. But that was probably, letting go of things and helping myself get over that whole, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. I didn't quite have that mindset, but it was hard. This is my baby. I laid the egg. I sat on the egg. I hatched the egg. I grew that chick into a real viable business. And now it was like I'm handing stuff off, and it had nothing to do with confidence in anyone else. It had to do with, I was just so used to doing it. So that's a big thing, building a team, handing stuff off. And with that, you've got to be a good trainer. You've got to have SOPs. You've got to have standard operating procedures and train your people right, because just like in sports, as in business, it all trickles down from the top. If a team loses, it's not the players, it's not the coach, it's not the management, it's the ownership. And it's the same way in business. And as in sports, the best players never made great coaches. The best coaches were never the greatest players. So you got to identify who's got the strengths you need to surround yourself with and stick with what you're great at, and let them do their thing and assign the things to them that best fit them and that they enjoy doing as well.
All right. I mean, as another sport euphemy is like right down the middle with that one. Speed wrecker. That was beautifully said, because I've gone through this, and I'm saying this to people that I run into as well, Dan. I said, if there's any one piece of advice I can give you, if you're just starting a business or you're struggling, but you're doing it all yourself, the number one piece of advice is get help. And that is a very highly loaded thing to say, because of everything you just said. You have to learn how to train, develop SOPs, become a manager, not a technician that we've all been for so long.
Right. And when I think the best time is to get help? When you're doing great. Now. When you're doing great, get help, or you're going to be stuck in that box. However great it is, stuck in that box, get help and expand. Find out, what are we not doing that we should be doing to move everything up a level? And
the ego is I wrote down that one word, ego. That is one main thing, one hurdle that keeps all of us from making that step. We all know in our core, we can do it all ourselves. We can. There's no doubt we can't. The issue is, do you want to? And the answer is no, you don't. I'll tell you, Dan will tell you.
Things would move so much slower too.
Yes.
My father used to say, I don't need an ego. I know how great I am.
I love it.
But I used to work at do sessions and produce stuff at this recording studio, and on the door it said, check your egos in the lobby. You can't come in with an ego, period.
And that's beautiful. Yeah. And it's liberating to make that move, to make that step. You finally,
humility.
A switch goes off in your head and like, hey, this is actually okay. And it calms you. I don't know if
be vulnerable. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love to give my team, I just say, here are the basic instructions. I make them basic. I said, use your creative genius to come up with what you come up with. And the reason I do that now, I've learned, I didn't do this originally in the beginning, they come at everything with a different lens. Their lens is much more like the client than mine is. Yeah. And so their lens is going to be way more on point, and it always has been every single time, than mine would be. So they do it completely different than I would. And I do this. Good job. Let's make a few tweaks, but not because of my ego. Just let's refine it a little bit, and bingo. And Dan, my God, it's so liberating to be able to do that.
Yeah. Objectivity is so important. It's one of the things that I teach business people who become content creators, or they have content creators on their team. And one of the most dangerous things is to not realize that you're so close to your own stuff that you can't be objective and read something you've written or see a video and realize that you're talking as if everyone is in your head and understands what you're understanding. Do not ask your best friends what they think of it, because they will hold your hand, walk with you smiling, nodding
Oh yeah.
until they let you go and fall off the cliffs. You got to wear one of these. You got to put on the fan's hat and look at things, whatever fan means to you folks, your prospects, your clients, your followers. You have to look at things through the fan's eyes and have that objectivity. And like you're saying, Brian, when you make that inclusion of people on your team to invite that objectivity and have that open door policy of input, that's what we mean when we say surround yourself with the right people and give them that latitude. What's the point of surrounding them with their great skills if you're not going to let that in, you know?
Yeah, and I would hate to put somebody in a box and just have them continually turn the same crank day in and day
Right.
out, mundane work. I've been there myself in corporate environment,
Yeah.
and I know that just it
It's
literally
stifling.
takes a part of your life from you because
Yeah.
it's your time in your life, right? And I love giving them. I just back off, said, "Go." I just did this. I just said, "I need a landing page for my upcoming book." I gave them some book art, and I said, "Just use this as your guide for now. We're going to go over this iteratively numerous times. I am not done with my book yet. Just show me what you got." And I literally said this to them. I said, "Let's just have fun with this. And it's going to be a remarkable thing because the person who does it has done many landing pages for me. It's going to be awesome no matter what. Let's just have a good time, relax. There's no due date. Just take it and run with it. And let's see what beautiful thing you create from it."
That's great. That's great.
And it's just so fun. It's gratifying to be that way with people, and that's just like awesome.
I think part of the gratification is you're taking it off your head and you know it's taken care of because you trust them. You've given them the latitude that empowers them. It makes them better partners to be working with, no matter what level the relationship is within the company. They are partners if they're working for you, with you, because of you, whatever. So that is very liberating. Absolutely.
And it enhances their skill sets. I literally tell my top ones, I say, "Hey, I'm going to literally teach you and train you things that are above and beyond what you probably normally do as a VA." And I ask them if that's okay with them first. I give them examples and I say, "By the end of this, you will have enough knowledge and training and on the job actually doing to literally leave me."
Yeah.
And then I would jokingly say, "But you do realize you can never leave me, right?" Because I literally don't want them to, but I want to empower them to have the ability to do that if that's what their life path takes them on.
Yeah.
And in the process, of course, you're building, like you just said so wonderfully, is building SOPs, the training. They will be in place for the next person when and if that comes. They'll
Right.
be there and they can just follow them in line and become that next superstar VA or employee that you have.
Exactly.
This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I just want to dive into what you do. What you do and your success is so compelling to me and just unbelievable in a good way. I don't mean that it's like, "Oh, there's no way you could have done that, Dan." I mean, I'll tell you that on the side, but not in the show. Because we have so much fun. But you have achieved some pretty massive success in the social media arena, which to a lot of people and to some extent, including myself, is like looking into a black hole. Like, where do I start and how do I do this? There's so many moving parts, and you should post this on this day and this time to this social media platform. You should say these words. You should or should not put a link in your post. You should put a hashtag. All of this is like, good Lord. And everyone has their solution, but I've not seen a person have the results that you have in the magnitude that you have. So what I'd like to do is take a moment, and if you're okay with it,
Yeah. Anything.
and actually let you showcase what you do.
Okay.
Basically, who is your target market? Is it, as an example, is it entrepreneurs, small business people? Is it major corporations, a mixture of all? Is it stay-at-home moms? Whatever it happens to be, what is your target market? And what is it you do for them, with them? And if you have a success story or two, I'd love to have you share that with the audience as well. There's only 3 parts to it. I hope you wrote all this down because there'll be a test later.
Okay. So working backwards, let's start with a couple examples of success. One of my favorite ones, I'll give you 2 that are on my list of testimonials when I sent out my materials. One of them actually came maybe a month and a half ago. a woman who is in my social media on steroids mastery mastermind groups course. That's a mouthful, I know. And her name's Kathy, and she wrote me a testimonial, and I had to call her or wrote her back and said, is your comma in the right place? And she said, yes, it is. In the first 90 days, not even done with the course, in the first 90 days, her reach grew 19,000%. Her reach grew 19,000% on Facebook alone, where everyone says Facebook's dead. I'm so unique. My clients aren't on Facebook. My prospects aren't on Facebook, and Facebook's dead. And 19,000% without spending a penny on ads, without spending a penny on boosting posters, from applying what she had learned so far in the first 3 months of my course. That's the gratification for me. Another one is from a few years ago, someone who sells products, and he took my course. And Philip wrote in his testimonial, by June of 2016, I had already doubled what I sold all of the previous year using Dan's social media on steroids. So starting with that, just so you folks know, there are real results. So what I do is, what does that have to do with Drum Talk TV? Well, what I teach from is the over 50,000 hours of the success I've had with my own strategies I've developed on Drum Talk TV. In the first year, we surpassed all of our industry peers, fluffy word for competitors, by 900% in online reach and engagement combined, all of them combined. And at that time in our first year, 2013, the closest, youngest company behind us was 10 years old. The oldest was 37. None of them, bless their hearts, I've worked with all of them. We've all done projects together. I know all of them, but they didn't embrace digital marketing. They didn't embrace social media. They don't think, they just, and here's the biggest nugget I could give. How did I do this? I don't know if you folks know this, but bald drummers are super hyper intelligent. It's that simple. No, the way I did this is I did not pay attention to the herd mentality, because when I started out and I looked at what people were doing with hashtags, that doesn't make sense. What people were doing with this, that doesn't make sense. I stopped paying attention and I came up with my own formulas. I tested them. The things that worked, we leveraged, we got better at. The things that didn't work, I either polished or threw away, and shoo, hockey stick to the moon right away in the first year. And the algorithms change on all the major platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Knick-Knack, Paddywhack, LinkedIn, all of them. And every year there's some thought leader in our space that says, you're never going to reach the same amount of people. You'll never get the same video views. You're never going to bring on the same amount of followers every month, because the algorithm changes. And when I see what the algorithm change is, I say, I think I can get around that. And every year for 10 years, we've been able to do that, because we are not attached to the herd mentality like a lot of people are, like a barnacle on a ship. Because a lot of people are doing what everyone else is doing because that's what everyone else is doing. So they figure that must be the right thing to do. Hashtag entrepreneur, hashtag success, hashtag drummer, hashtag motorcycle, hashtag generic tag won't do anything for your posts. Coming from the guy who has over 1 million followers, grown 100% organically, reaching millions more a week, it doesn't do anything. Think about this. If 400,000 people out of the 3 billion on Facebook, or the 2 billion on Instagram, or the 2.5 billion, almost 3 billion on you, if all those people, 400,000, are using hashtag Wednesday or hashtag entrepreneur once a week, that's 400,000 occurrences of that one hashtag. Look in your mind at the beach of sand. Your same occurrence of that hashtag is 1 grain of sand on that same beach. How do you expect people to find your piece of content if you're using what everyone else is using? It doesn't ride some magic some magic coattails to make it be found. It just doesn't work that way, but everyone's doing it. because, or some people use it to express a mood. Hashtag regret, hashtag rainy day, hashtag flat. What? Wait, what? Well, I asked one person, why are you doing that? He said, well, I thought hashtags were decorations. Decorations? Decorate this. Here's my hashtag. Hashtag don't hashtag just a hashtag. Brand your hashtags. And I'll give you an example real quick, if I may. In our first year, 2 weeks after I started the corporation, we covered the NAMM show for the first time. It's the largest music trade show in the world. Covered it for the first time. Me and a cameraman who I taught how to use the camera in the freaking parking lot. And I realized at that first show, 150,000 people attended over 4 days from all over the world. Everyone's using hashtag NAMM or a hashtag NAMM show. I thought, if I use those hashtags, it's going to get lost on that beach of sand. So I coined a branded hashtag, hashtag DTTV NAMM 13. Hashtag DTTV is Drum Talk TV. NAMM, N-A-M-M, the name of the organization and the show, National Association Music Merchants, and the two digits of the year of the, I can barely get this out, of the year. I didn't say I was a linguist, of the last 2 digits of that year. That made our shit stand out from everyone else's shit. And there was more of their shit than our stuff. So I know what you're thinking, folks. You're thinking, well, how will they know to look that up? They won't at first, but eventually they're going to see it reoccur in all the posts that we do at that show. And now otherwise in everything we do, they're going to get curious and they're going to click on it, or they're going to search on it. And if they click on it, using Facebook as an example, it's going to populate with only our posts. If you use a generic tag like hashtag entrepreneur, hashtag hump day, hashtag motivation Monday, search it on Google and see if your posts even come up. And if it does at all, it's probably because it's cached in your computer. So this is just one example of why you can't do what everyone else is doing just because that's what they're doing. And what I teach, and I don't mean this to be a plug, but this is part of what makes what I provide different. What I teach is not social media. I teach content marketing strategies that work on any social media platform, podcasting, vlogging. I'm having a senior moment. Websites, right on your website, anything, and email. That's what I was looking for. Email, that old thing, email. And we have to use critical thinking and logic. That's all I did. I looked away from the herd and I used critical thinking and logic and some uncommon sense. Those are the 3 things. Simple as that. And people, I see all these posts littered, digital littering with 5, 10, 15 hashtags. Shame on the platforms for allowing that, because they squash the reach if there's too many hashtags. So don't let people put those in. Why would you want people to search or click on that hashtag rather than your call to action to go buy your book or book a call or go to your web? Why would you put those distractions? But everyone's doing it because they think it's going to ride some magic wave. Okay, I feel like I'm getting a little wound up here. I apologize.
No,
originally scheduled program. but that's, you got to think, folks. Don't defer to your 16-year-old niece because she's on social media. She'll know what to do. Everyone with one of these has social media as a skill on LinkedIn. Give me a freaking break. Seriously, if you're not getting results, if you're not growing your following, your engagement, driving traffic on social week after week after week, don't put that down. I have fillings in my teeth. I don't claim I'm a dentist. Sorry if I
no apology, please. A few things I like to point out is, a lot of people watching or listening after the fact on audio podcast only is they might be still sitting there with their arms folded like, this is a bunch of BS. Who is this guy? And just a quick reminder that Dan has built over 100 or 1 million active followers, not just followers, active, and reaching millions more a week, and is growing at 4,500 a week in over 130 countries. He's not talking from hearsay. He's not talking from, one mentor I had said, he taught one thing from stage, and I asked him about it. I said, that was really cool. And I asked him behind stage, like, tell me more about that. And he goes, that, as he's eating his lunch between breaks. Oh, that, yeah. I don't do that, but I just think everybody else should do it. I'm like,
Ah,
what?
yeah, I'm
That
teaching from the hands-on experience of
exactly.
50,000 hours of doing. And people, I know some people say, "Well, I don't need 1 million followers." You don't. But what got me to 1 million, got me to 100, got me to 1,000, got to 10,000. And if you can only get 5%, and that's generous, if you can only close 5% of the people who know what you do or of your target market, if you can only get 5% of them to buy from you, would you rather close 5% of 1,000 people or 5% of 10,000 people? That's why we need to grow our following, give value, and not just sell. We have to curate other content. We have to give community building content, because if like a lot of brands, if all you do is post what's for sale, what's the reason for me to follow you? It's like turning on a radio station. They play one song and then 20 minutes of commercials, but then you get another song and then 20 minutes. Who's going to keep listening to that? You've got to give them a fun, edifying, educating reason, entertaining reason to follow you. Then when you drop an ad about your book, about your gig, about your event, about whatever you provide to give value to their lives so they can help other people, they're paying attention, and you build likability, trust, and brand love. Because if those three things aren't there, they're not buying. Only 3% of consumers buy on impulse. Those are judgers. The perceivers, they're exploring, they're comparing, they want to feel warm and fuzzy. They got to talk about it with their significant other if they have one, or just in their mind come to grips with letting that $50. My wife and I talk about anything over $50. Anything over $50. I just bought 40th anniversary package of the band Asia in Asia, a DVD, a booklet, a Blu-ray, all this stuff, and it's over $50. I went and had to get permission from my wife. Well, I mean, talk about it. My point is that you have to give value or no one cares. And don't use the fact that what makes you unique is you're more passionate. No one cares when you say you're passionate. Again, almost every LinkedIn says, I'm passionate about. If you're passionate, show it. Bring them to tears by how you help people. Don't say you're passionate, show it. And they'll know. They'll know. I know I went off on a couple little side trips there, but it's all wrapped up into the same lesson of,
and that's
what we should be fighting. Yeah,
that's what you're giving right now is a lesson. That's how you roll. You're giving a lot of what you teach in your actual courses, and of course I know you go deeper in your courses so that people get the results, like your previous couple of stories there where they were crushing it. I mean, 19,000%. Let's say you had one follower and you got 19,000% growth. What does that mean? You now have 19,000 followers.
Or
that's significant.
Yeah,
that's significant.
And everything I just said was the long-winded answer of what do I do? What do I provide? I teach people how to do that. And folks, I say this with love. We've all heard this, even if it's not from ourselves, and maybe we're saying it, we don't know it at some point in our business journey. There's so many people that believe they are so unique that it won't work for them. My clients aren't on Instagram, or, pick one, or Twitter, or Facebook, or LinkedIn. Someone always thinks everyone's everywhere. That's another myth. That the younger people are only on Instagram and TikTok, and the old curmudgeons are the ones on Facebook. Everyone's everywhere. I have the data. Okay, let me rephrase that. Not everyone's everywhere. Every age group is everywhere. I have the data. It's there, not just mine, but clients. The younger folks, there are younger folks on Facebook. Okay, I'm on TikTok. As a consumer, it's my favorite social platform. So let me say something to people who think seniors, I'm a senior, very much a senior, who think that seniors aren't on TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I follow Tom Papa. I follow Rodney Dangerfield. I follow Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Al Pacino. I go on. They're all much older than I am, except for Tom Papa. So don't attach yourself to that hall of the herd mentality. It's all BS. Look beyond that. Google some stuff. Do some investigating. Try some stuff. Experiment. Look around, for goodness sakes. And don't just listen. I have a friend who writes business books called The Lazy Manager. He just put out the 3rd volume. Can I say his name?
Please.
Jim Plouffe. My wife calls him the Plouffe. I call him Pluff and Stuff. Ploufffe. Jim is 68, 69, retired as a millionaire at 42, and he writes business books. And the biggest thing that stuck out to me in all 3 books, don't ever take advice from someone who hasn't done what you want to do. If you're looking to grow your business, grow your following, and someone's telling you your drunk uncle at the holiday table, your 17-year-old nephew, if they haven't done it.
Yes. That next big stock, baby.
Yeah.
By Uncle Roy.
That's
well, Uncle Roy said.
Uncle Dick. Uncle Broke Dick Dog, as my dad used to say.
There are a lot of moving parts to doing it successfully on social media, as I stated earlier. And my personal take on things has become that I don't personally want to know and learn every one of those. I just want to bring somebody who knows every one of those into my world to help me to get there. And if that results in my needing to learn it to execute it, then so be it. But at least here's the thing. I now have a much greater percentage of certainty that I will get the results, because the person who is giving that information and teaching and guidance has himself or herself actually experienced it, not in the past 10 years or 10 years ago, all the way up to today and still going. You want somebody that's not only historically successful, but currently successful, especially when it's social media, because you just said the algorithms.
Yeah.
What's that?
You asked me, and this last part was part of the answer to who do I serve and who I work with. Again, people who think they're so unique it won't work for them, or their clients prospects aren't on this channel or that. I work with people who are smart enough to know they need to grow up here and learn new strategies to grow their business and want to learn or teach their team. And with the mastermind groups course, which is live sessions with me, I'm very selective about who I work with. They've got to be a fit for the group. I have to believe they're going to do the work, show up, do the work, get the results, or I don't let them in. No one can register for it on my website. Then I have a smaller version, which is the pre-recorded archived version. It's 25-30% of the same exact modules from that package as a pre-recorded thing without the live sessions and things, and anyone can do that. So any industry, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, big corporations, Main Street retail. I've worked with everybody from gold and platinum artists in the music industry to up and coming artists, to Citibank, McDonald's, Wells Fargo, Taco Bell, the Sydney to Hobart yacht race, Ford dealerships, and everybody in between. It all works the same. It really does.
And if for nothing else, if you want to jump on board with this, and this is not a show to promote or sell anything, and I've said this before with other guests, if I see something that I know, because of the person more than the thing, the vehicle, it's because of Dan that I say, this is someone, if you're in that boat and you want to grow your business and your brand and you're just uncertain, there's so many solutions, quote unquote. If there's any one reason you want to work with Dan, it's really what it comes down to this for me is that cool little voice. I mean, come on.
I want to, if I could just throw this out there. Okay. You said in the very beginning, and it means so much to me. I really do care. I really do care. My wife and I have a blended family of 11 kids, 19 grandkids. I know we're going to have more because one of my sons got married this year, and 2 dogs and a cat. We are nurturers by nature. I grew up in a household like that. I wanted to be an oceanographer. I wanted to be the next Jacques Cousteau. By 14, I'd been playing drums a little over 7 years. I was really good, but I wanted to be the next Jacques Cousteau, an ocean. I don't know if anyone here is old enough to know who Jacques was, but I wanted to be an oceanographer, a scientist. My mother loved that. First initials, DR, doctor, makes sense, right? Then my father took me to my first concert, a Flash in the Pan band. I don't know if everyone's heard of it. Led Zeppelin, 1977. And by the third song, I thought, wait a minute, you mean that could be a career? So 2 days later, I sat my parents down. I said, I don't want to be an oceanographer anymore. My mom enthusiastically said, "Oh, what do you want to be?" I said, "I want to be a professional drummer like John Bonham." So after we hit her with the paddles and revived her, she was a little upset at first, but exactly 1 year later, at 15, I'm getting goosebumps. She found an ad for a singing group about to go on tour in 4 weeks that needed a drummer. And she asked me, "Do you want to go on this audition?" I went on the audition, didn't even play. I got the gig by talking with the director of the thing and joined 2 weeks before the tour. Amazing experience. I saw from LA to Long Island, back a different way, playing state fairs at 15 years old, opening for Styx, Heart, Blue Oyster Cult, the
Wow.
Osmonds. My point is that I come from a nurtured background, and I was surrounded by the right people, and I'm a nurturer. And I encourage everyone to surround themselves by the right people. Like Brian said, there's such a matrix to all this stuff. There's no race, but get on the right track, learning the right stuff to implement it at whatever pace works for you and or your team. All the students in my mastermind class, I don't say you need to get to this point by this. It's whatever it works for you, but you're getting the information to do it right. We're all wired differently. We'll all do it at our same pace. Life happens, this and that. You know, when people say I'm too busy to learn, either I haven't sold the value or you just don't get it, or you don't want it badly enough. Because I understand busy. I don't know if I mentioned this. I have 2 very busy businesses. I'm married. That alone takes up a lot of energy. Got 11 kids, 19 grandkids, 2 dogs. I understand busy. I understand busy. And I'm at it from 5 in the morning until whenever, but you got to use balance. I'm just saying, give yourself a chance. Be the silver bullet. No matter how much wisdom I get you, no matter what apps and software you get, that's not the silver bullet. You are.
Love it. Amen, brother. I just looked at the clock. We're already over. Oh, that's
my
awesome.
goodness.
It's
Wow.
sweet.
So much more to talk about.
I know. So I want to be respectful of everyone's time who is still with us live. I appreciate you for being here. I did promise that you will have the opportunity to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort, compliments of thebiginsidersecrets.com. And Mr. Dan Shinder has a gift for you as well. So don't go anywhere. And I'm going to ask him one final question before we call it a night. So hang on with us for just a little while longer. So for those of you that are still with us, to enter to win, you're going to want to write this down. Don't go there now because you don't want to miss the rest of this. There's still a little bit left. You want to go to ryp.im/vacation. That's ryp.im/vacation. Write that down, and you can enter to win that amazing 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. And I'm telling you, they're from all over the world, and they are legitimate. It's not a timeshare. They're not going to take you to the basement and water torture you, anything like that. It's absolutely phenomenal. And before we let everybody go, don't go anywhere, because I still got that one. There's one amazing question I like to ask to finish every show. Dan, I'm going to let you take it away. I'll put it up on the screen. You can describe exactly what this amazing high value gift is to our watchers and listeners.
Absolutely. So for the first 3 people that respond with the Mind Body Business Show to my email, which is right there on the screen, email me directly. I'm the only one that accesses that email. The first 3 people that respond with that in the subject line, I'll book a 30-minute call with you to see where you are. What are you succeeding at? What do you need help with? And I will register you for my self-guided social media on steroids mastery course at no charge. It's typically $47.97. Anyone else that emails me that's not in the top 3, I will still email you information about both my courses and offer you a huge discount through January 7th.
That is freaking phenomenal, and I appreciate that.
Sure.
You have no idea. I really do appreciate that. Lorianne Hood says, I am still here.
Hey, Lori.
Nice. Yes, and for that last question, which I hope people aren't dropping off now because this is it. Dan, I love to close every show with a very, very, very important, very hard-hitting, in some cases, profound question.
Ooh.
And it's just phenomenal. I usually lead up with that and then tease you about it, do the prizes. So you're sweating by now.
I
But
am.
Oh, good. So it worked. I want to see your armpits. Show me.
Yeah, it's up here. Beating up.
So yeah, it's a very very awesome question, and really it's a little bit personal, but the only thing personal about it is here's the fact. There is no such thing as a wrong answer to this question, just so you know that.
Well, I do feel better already.
Yeah, right.
Because I don't know if I've gotten any of the others right.
Yeah, over whatever. But so the the exact opposite is true. The only correct answer is your answer.
Oh.
So with that, are you ready?
Yes,
For the
sir.
big
What's
question?
coming, Brian?
Yeah, you sure?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Dan Shinder, how do you define success?
That is deep. Success is accomplishing what you set out for and always raising that bar. And it should be something that somehow gives value to others, no matter what you do, whether you're a speaker, an author, have a shoe store, sell cars, boats, race cars or boats, raise kids, have a school. No matter what you do, to me, success is achieving what you set out to do. And you should always be pushing that farther up and farther away so that there's always more to do. Because the more you do and achieving that, the more other people you're helping. And as Zig Ziglar said, the great Zig Ziglar, if you give enough people what they want, they'll give you what you want. And it's so true, whether you call it the universe or karma or whatever. We really, not to sound too corny or anything, but we really should be here for others. Therefore, we are here for ourselves. That's my answer.
Phenomenal, Dan. Thank you so much for being here. Before we cut off real quick, for those of you to email Dan, it's dan@advancedsocialmarketing.com, correct?
Yep, that's it. And the dot is lowercase.
It's dan@advancedsocialmarketing.com. And then his website, of course, is advancedsocialmarketing.com. Be sure to go and connect with him there. Is there any other best way to connect with you other than LinkedIn or Facebook or all the social media platforms that you're on?
Those are the two best ways. Yeah. Facebook, you could find me at my personal. I keep it below 5,000 friends, but reach out, ask questions. Just if you have questions, reach out, ask questions. I'm always happy to just answer questions.
Fantastic. Thank you, my friend. We went a little long, but worth every second. I appreciate you, my brother. And,
thank you, brother. I'm so honored. I really, really appreciate it.
It's been way too long. We'll have to catch up again on the backside so we can talk even more. But appreciate you. On behalf of the amazing Dan Shinder, I'm your host, Brian Kelly of the Mind Body Business Show. We'll be back again really quick with another phenomenal guest. I don't know if they can hold a candle to Dan, but we'll see what happens. You don't want to miss it. Until then, everyone, go out and serve others, crush it, and above all, be blessed. Take care, everybody. Have a great
Thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.